The next phonogram is also a clock phonogram. This is the way we write it with a pencil. This is the way we read it in a book. This is the fancy way. Say hello, Fancy.
Hello, Fancy.
Okay. Listen for the sounds. You may count them with your fingers. Ready? Now you say it. Very good. And I'm going to write this one on the board. Are you ready? It's a clock phonogram. It begins at 2 on the clock below the dotted line. I have to count over 1 clock space, make my dot below, 2 on the clock, up around to 10, to the 8, to the baseline, to the 4, and stop. 1 stroke. Read it again. And then I would have you practice it. But for time's sake, we're going to keep going through the phonograms, and I'm going to show how to write it one time. Okay? The next phonogram. This is the way we write it with a pencil. This is the way we read it in a book. Listen for the sounds. D. How many sounds?
1.
1. On this one, you have to be careful. You don't want to say duh, right? And you don't want to say b. Your mouth is open when you say this. D. And it starts with a clock. So this is also a clock stroke. The clock comes first, and then the line. Read it. D. It's a clock stroke, so we're going to count over 1 clock space. 2 on the clock, up around to 10, to the 8, to the baseline, to the 4, to the 2. Go straight up, don't touch the top, and straight down. We come close to the top, but we don't touch it. All with 1 stroke. Ready for the next one? This phonogram this is the way we write it with a pencil. This is the fancy way. This says, say it with me. It's quiet. Put your fingers on your throat. It doesn't make any noise in your throat, does it? No vibration. So we call this a quiet one, and our teeth are on our lip. It is also a clock phonogram. Even though the line looks like it's first, we don't do the line first. We do the clock first. I'm just going to write it right next to this one. So I have to count over 1 clock space because this is the clock part. So I start at 2. It's also tall, so it has to be 2 below the top line. So 2, up around to 10, and I stop there. Do you see that there are clocks in the upper part, above the dotted line, below the dotted line, and even below the baseline? And then I also wrote a clock here. It's a big clock for all of the mama letters. What else do you call mama letters? Do you remember?
Capitals.
Capitals. Those are for the capitals and for the tall letters like this. So this is 2 on the clock. You can make your starting dot to help you write it when you do it. You don't have to do it now. 2 up around to 10. Stop at the 10. Now here's a mistake sometimes where students keep rounding and it doesn't make it look nice. So you have to remember that you're starting at 2 and you're going to stop at the 10 before you come down. Then you come straight down. So it's all 1 stroke. Watch again. 2 up around to 10. Stop and go straight down and sit it on the baseline. Then you pick up your pencil and you give it across above the dotted line in the direction we read and write. And it's not a very long dash, is it? It's a short dash. So that's, next we have g, j. This is also a clock phonogram. Does it look short or tall? Short. So we count over 1 clock space. Do you see if I kept going down, that would take up some space, wouldn't it? So I'm going to start from here and count over 1 clock space. I'm going to put all of these comfortably close together. Comfortably close together, that's a good thing to talk about. That means that they're close, but what? Not touching. Can you show me comfortably close together? Okay, comfortably close together is close but not touching. It doesn't have a space. Do these look comfortably close together? Yes. So I'm going to count over 1 clock space so that this will be comfortably close to the ones I've already written. It's 2 on the clock. Oh, I didn't tell you the sound. Did I tell you the sound? Ready? G, j. Did I? I don't remember.
Oh, you did.
This is the way we write it. This is the way we read it. Read it again. G, j. Oh yeah, when you write it, you can also read it the written way, can't you? Okay, so g, j. It's a clock stroke, 2 on the clock, up around to 10, to the 8, to the baseline, to the 4, to the 2, stop, Go straight down. Now we get to do the short line with the bottom part. You don't pick up your pencil. You go halfway below, stop halfway, and round from 4, see? 4 to what? 8. Just like this. So we did this stroke right here. We went around to 2, down to the 4. That's a little bit low. That wasn't a very good drawing. So I would usually stop it here. And then it would go from 4 to 8. So that's a little bit low because you don't want it to be so close to that line right there. Next. I think we can get these done. Oh, that looks hard, doesn't it? No. Ah, oh, ooh, ah. Say it with me. Ah, oh, ooh, ah. This is the way we write it with a pencil. This is the fancy way we see it in a book. Let's write this one. Count over how many spaces?
1.
1, because we want them comfortably close. 2 on the clock, up around to 10, to the 8, to the baseline, to the 4, to the 2, and stop. Next one. Another clock stroke. Did you notice that we're doing all of the clock strokes first? And the numbers are on the back of the card to keep them in order. Also, there are words written on the back. The red words are dictation for how to form the phonograms. I don't say all of those things on the back, but they help mommies and daddies also to know how to help their children at home. And then the phonogram is at the top, and there's a word for each sound that the phonogram makes to help parents and teachers to know to say the correct sound. But the students don't learn those words, do they? Not yet. Not until spelling time, right? Right now we need to learn the phonograms so we can begin spelling. So let's say this phonogram. Put your finger on your throat. The first one is quiet, the second one is noisy, isn't it? So this is a clock stroke. Count over 1 clock space, 2 on the clock, up around to 10. When we get to 10, we slide across to the floor, stop, round from 4 to 8.